Google panics over ChatGPT. Oh boy.
This was Google in 1998.
So we're right between that house and this house.
Okay.
We're renting this half of a house. Ping pong table, computer. Go to the other side of the office. There's Larry, CEO of Google.
That's so fucking crazy to see. That was only like maybe, what, like 25 years ago? And now Google is just massive.
Say something, Larry. Hi.
It was a small company run out of the garage of Susan Wojcicki, who is, interestingly, the current CEO of YouTube.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Simply
What the
from
fuck?
recognizing the value of organizing information on the web, Google managed to grow from a few tinkering PhD students to a formidable giant that now owns over 90% of search and carries out over 8 billion search queries per day.
God damn.
For 2 decades now, Google has been the undisputed king of web searches.
Yep.
The term Google has been synonymous with searching for information.
Yep.
Need a recipe or a movie review
You
or just
Google it.
settling an argument with a friend? You can just Google it.
That's right.
With a net worth of $1.15 trillion in 2022,
That's
they
a
seem
lot.
unstoppable. So what exactly could make a massive company like Google panic? So much so that they issued an internal code red. Well, it's OpenAI's ChatGPT, of course. With
Okay.
Microsoft's plans to integrate the AI system into their search engine, Bing, Google Search may face a serious threat for the first time in its history. Could this be one of the biggest technology story arcs in history? While making this episode,
I think one thing that was harmful for Google too is whenever Google started censoring search results. I think that did cause a lot of people to lose a lot of trust in Google in a way that's like kind of verifiable. It's not like some theoretical conspiracy thing.
I kind of felt like we're at the beginning of an AI war. So in the following, we'll learn what Google might do about the situation. They're actually already fighting back. We'll get into that. And we'll also see why exactly ChatGPT is such a threat to Google's central business model. Let's take a look.
All right, let's see it.
You are watching Cold Fusion TV.
Going to transform just about every industry, including education. ChatGPT passed the U.S. medical licensing exam, the bar
That's pretty
exam,
good.
and got a B on a Wharton MBA paper.
A
That's pretty good.
conversational chatbot capable of responding to any query in a human-like manner always seemed to be a technology of the future, for the masses anyway, until ChatGPT. Following its release, ChatGPT has garnered huge attention from around the world. To give you an idea of the scale of this moment, ChatGPT has been the fastest app in history to reach 100 million users. It's
Wow. So it only took 2 months for it to go to like fucking to 100 million users? That is crazy. I've never seen this before. That's fucking huge. Yeah, I know. Oh my God.
taken just 2 months, whereas TikTok took 9 and Instagram 30.
Yeah.
A rapid adoption rate is a classic early signal of a disruptive product or technology. A couple of months ago, we took a deep dive into ChatGPT. Since then, it's been updated and is better than ever. However, as I previously stated, it's important to know that it's not perfect and may sometimes give bias or outright incorrect information. If you want to see that episode on ChatGPT and OpenAI,
Yeah, like they censor a lot of answers. Like for example, the ChatGPT can't make arguments for using fossil fuels and stuff like that. I don't really think they're doing themselves any favors with that, and I think all it does is it just furthers people's distrust with AI. They fix that. Yeah, I think that it should be able to answer any question.
AI's views on the future of these systems in more detail. The link for that episode can be found in the description below. Microsoft is looking to capitalize, namely by putting this technology in their search engine, Bing. The massive implications of this will be discussed later in the episode.
Okay,
But
let's
for
see it.
now, we've got to find out something. How did Microsoft and OpenAI get involved with each other in the first place? The alliance between the two started in 2019 when Microsoft invested $1 billion into OpenAI. This was very
decision.
crucial for both companies. OpenAI needed some cash as well as the computing power of Microsoft's Azure cloud services. This allowed the AI research firm to scale and drastically reduce its operating costs. Microsoft, on the other hand, was able to acquire OpenAI's intellectual property portfolio in the process. In essence, Microsoft now has access to some of the world's best AI technology, giving it a competitive edge.
That's crazy that they could see that 3 years ago. And they knew this shit was going to happen and they invested in it back then. Yeah, that's impressive.
Edge over other major players in the tech industry.
Microsoft buying everything?
Since
Good
then,
decision.
Microsoft and OpenAI have been working together on various projects.
And specifically, ChatGPT. CEO Satya Nadella is saying its impact will be, quote, at the magnitude of the personal computer, the internet, mobile devices, and the cloud.
I think that's probably true. I think he's right about that. That, yeah, AI is going to have like a massive impact on that level. Absolutely. Google panics, uh-oh.
When Microsoft made the bombshell announcement that they were integrating ChatGPT into Bing, Google was in shock. An emergency code red situation was declared, and I could imagine the frantic meetings.
Yeah, I bet they were
One Google
stressed.
executive told the New York Times it was a make or break moment for the company. But wait, this is Google we're talking about. The company with far and away the world's leading search engine. They dominate 90% of search queries. Microsoft.
I think also Google has like the, they have the home field advantage with this. Because everybody, like literally internet search is synonymous with Google. So it will have to take something, even if like a search website comes out that's better than Google, it won't beat Google because so many people just know Google.
With their dinky little Bing, accounts for only 9% of worldwide desktop searches in 2022. So why is Google panicking? Google is looking at what might happen in the future and not what's happening today. Chatbots are not new, but the level of performance seen by ChatGPT definitely is. The thing that sets it apart from the Medicore chatbots of the past is that it's a generative pre-trained transformer, or GPT, in plain language.
That's the first time I learned what it stood for. Good to know that.
It just means that it's been trained on billions of parameters and petabytes of text. This training allows the system to generate new text in a way that mimics the understanding of a wide range of queries and can respond accordingly. ChatGPT, or the inevitable flood of AI assistants, has the potential to revolutionize how we interact with search engines. Microsoft could see this as well, and that's why they've been betting on OpenAI and its technology. For a second, I just want you to stop and think about it. If an AI-powered search engine gave you the specific information or answer you want in a concise manner, but you could also ask further questions and drill down into the details that you want, this would be revolutionary.
Yeah, it's like being able to have it go through Wikipedia for you. That's actually crazy. Because, like, yeah, that's one thing, like, I don't know how many times I've, like, tried to look something up on Google where it's, like, how to change an air filter on a 2001 Mustang. And, like, the video that comes up is not as good as, what it could be. So, like, if you had an AI that could tell you that even more, it would be 1,000 times better.
Don't have to click through a bunch of links and waste your time. Right now, if you want a specific answer, you have to Google what you're looking for, get a bunch of results that may or may not fit, and if it's specific enough, you end up going to a forum anyway and searching through all the answers there. In this AI-powered search engine world, the answer would already be synthesized for you, and this is because the AI has already crawled through the whole web and read it already. And I think this is where AI-powered search...
That's kind of crazy to think, the reason why is because the AI's already read the entire internet. Like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Excel the most. For very specific problems, just this implication alone is huge. Obviously, if you want to know something political or something that could have a slant or bias, that's another story.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It has Google shook a little bit, calling a code red, and there's a good reason for that. ChatGPT is potentially an existential threat to Google's business because Google relies 60% of its revenue on search, And ChatGPT offers an alternative to search, which is a one-stop question answering shop powered by AI. But this could change the game of search entirely, which is core to Google's business.
If OpenAI...
I feel like if Google doesn't really have search, I'm sure they have like other business-to-business things that they make money off of, like server capacity and hosting, stuff like that. But in terms of like its value to an individual, like end user, like you or me, very minimal. Like most people use Google search and that's about it.
Integrates a ChatGPT-like language model into Bing's search engine. People will just be able to find the results that they need without having to scroll through a flat page of search results that are littered with ads. This may be good news for users, but for a company like Google, it's very bad news.
And why is this so bad for Google? Because roughly 60% of their revenue comes from Google search. If the magnitude of this income becomes significantly damaged, it could be catastrophic.
Google's business model is centered around advertising. It's been their long-standing primary source of revenue. By charging companies for promoted search links or AdSense links on websites, the company has built a lucrative business model. But it's clear that ChatGPT's integration with Bing has the potential to disrupt this entire system.
If that doesn't sound...
Yeah, I think it'll take longer too, because like most people, they use Bing to look up Google. Like I think that's probably the most searched thing on Bing is Google. So it's going to take a while for people to kind of like move away from that. It's like how Blizzard kept trying to push Microsoft Explorer and people just were not having it. And they finally were like, okay, we're just going to rename it to Microsoft Edge. That's it.
Bad enough. The creator of Gmail himself said that ChatGPT will destroy Google's business in 2 years.
Goddamn.
While I don't think this is the case, because Google isn't going to just sit still, as you'll soon see, it still is interesting that he said this.
In January of 2023, the Department of Justice filed an antitrust lawsuit against Google. They stated, quote, Google has used anti-competitive, exclusionary, and unlawful means to eliminate or severely diminish any threats to its dominance over digital advertising technologies.
I think that's probably true. I mean, Google AdWords and like AdSense is just the best. I mean, like, Google doesn't even need to suppress other people because the truth is that because Google has so much search results, they have so much data aggregation that they're so far ahead of like Amazon or any of these other like ad programs.
This isn't to mention the 12,000 Google employees that were recently let go. This is probably due to higher interest rates and a changing market. But still, all things considered, these are some of the biggest challenges Google has seen in its 20 years of dominance. So it's no surprise that the company issued the code red. But here's the crazy thing. They even sought help from their co-founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, both of which had stepped down from their executive positions back in 2019 and have not been actively involved in the company's operations. According to the New York Times, the pair was invited to an executive meeting to strategize on how to integrate chatbot features into Google's search engine. They were also...
I think that really like Google just has to play catch up with this. It's not like they can try and do something different because this is obviously what people want to see and people want to have. So like they've got to work in overtime to make that happen.
Said to be devising a plan for the company's AI operations.
According to Forbes, Sergey Brin has requested access into Google's internal code, and he was taking a look at some Lambda code. This could indicate that Google will be using Lambda in their response to OpenAI.
When Google calls them the old guard, you know things are getting serious. Meanwhile, Microsoft is going all out. They're going to be investing an extra $10 billion into OpenAI. As part of the new agreement, Microsoft will receive 75% of OpenAI profits until it recoups its investment, and then will hold a 49% stake in the company afterwards.
Goddamn.
Unfortunately, this is the antithesis of what the OpenAI company originally stood for. If all goes well, this may turn out to be one of the best business deals of the decade.
The thing is, like, you could shit on Microsoft for a lot of things, but man, they make those deals. And it's like they're there whenever they need to be there. Yeah, they know their shit.
Right now, Chrome is the default option for Android, and Google pays Apple huge sums of money just to be the default option on iPhones and macOS devices. This has no doubt worked wonders for Google in the past, especially since there's been no real alternative. But now that Bing could eat some market share, I think Google will use their default status and dominating market share to their advantage while they hit back. This is how I think things may play out if Google gets their act together.
Alright, let's see it.
So Google are probably going to rapidly prototype and release an AI-powered search engine competitor integrated into Google Chrome. And because Google Chrome is the default browser for so many, this new tool will gain widespread adoption without much effort, and end up killing Bing AI before it really gets a chance to start.
That's smart for them to do. That's a good
Now, I
idea.
could be wrong, but it just seems like Google has to make a major move like this.
Yeah, because Google always, because they have so much more awareness than Bing or anything else, people are always going to use Google first, and they have that massive marketing advantage.
It's reported that Google is working on 20 AI projects, including image generation tools, a product for prototype app testing, and even a green screen mode for YouTube creators. One of the most interesting pieces of research is Music LM, an AI that can transform whistled or humming melodies into a certain style which is described in text. So
That's going to be pretty funny if they can just, you can just make music with AI.
Clear that Google isn't sleeping. In a staff memo, CEO Sundar Pichai wrote, quote, "I am confident about the huge opportunity in front of us. Thanks to the strength of our mission, the value of our products and services, and our early investments in AI. To fully capture it, we'll have to make some tough choices." And I think that last sentence is key. It seems like Google may be forced to put the safety issues on the back seat and will just start unleashing the AI products. They could turn the playing field around quite quickly.
Oh yeah, Google could, because the thing is, one of the biggest criticisms of ChatGPT is that it's curated in a way that is viewed as censorship. So Google could use that as a competitive advantage and be like, ours isn't censored, we can let you search whatever you want and do whatever you want. I can see that being a pretty good selling point for a lot of people.
And this is some news just in. According to CNBC, Google is currently testing a ChatGPT competitor called Apprentice Bard internally with its employees.
Apprentice Bard?
And also, a group of engineers have left OpenAI and started their own AI company, and their first product, Claude, is similar to ChatGPT, but better in some cases. The company, called Anthropic AI, has already raised over $1
Yeah, I think people are going to look at ChatGPT the same way that people look at Atari now. Obviously Atari was foundational and it was great for its time, but, we've evolved a lot past that.
$1 billion. And guess what? Google just invested $300 million. Things are really heating up now.
So these guys are playing both sides.
Something doesn't add up here. Google has been working on AI technology for a long time. Even as far back as 2016, Google CEO Sundar Pichai wanted to make Google, quote, an AI-first company. So how could they be caught with their pants down like this? Well, in a twist of irony, Google inadvertently gave OpenAI the keys to the castle.
Oops. Yeah, that's a...
In 2017, Google researchers published a paper that would silently change the world. It outlined a method of processing text, images, and more. It was called a transformer, and their technique allowed an AI to focus on specific parts of an input rather than having to process the entire sequence. This allows for more effective and efficient processing of language data.
Alright.
So in a way, it was this groundbreaking work from Google scientists that later led to the development of OpenAI's ChatGPT. The problem for Google is that they moved too slowly, and this was due to safety concerns, and rightly so. Such a large company has a lofty reputation. An offensive or misleading AI would be of high reputational risk for Google.
Totally don't think so. Remember whenever Microsoft had that Tay? They had this girl that was an AI and she turned into being a racist in 3 days. Did anybody really think that was Microsoft's fault? Did Microsoft take an L for that? Not really. People were just like, well, that's dumb. Okay. That was about it. I don't think it would really affected them at all.
General, even though AI language models feel very human-like, they occasionally produce illogical or outright false information.
Oh yeah, of course.
And due to these reasons, Google has released nothing publicly. But the unavoidable consequence was frustrated researchers, so some of them have left to raise money for their own AI startups. That being said, Google does have several language models for internal use, the most famous of which was LaMDA. This language model made headlines in June of 2022 when a former Google engineer claimed it was sentient. While that may not be true, it was certainly sophisticated.
Encountered sentient AI on the company's servers? I don't know, man. I like, that's something that I'm not really gonna believe until I see it. Yeah, I think that there's like a huge difference between sentience and really good AI that can parse information. Like, that's like two completely different universes.
So let's wrap this episode up by taking a look at what we know so far about an AI-powered Microsoft search engine. Microsoft is expected to launch Bing with some ChatGPT features at the end of March.
I'll have to try that.
There is still some growing speculation about how the AI system will be integrated into the search engine. One possibility is that ChatGPT could allow users to just communicate with Bing in a more human-like way. You don't have to worry about keywords. You just ask Bing the question in the same way that you would ask another person. An anonymous Microsoft source told Bloomberg that more conversational and contextual responses to queries will win over users by providing better quality answers that go beyond links.
That's probably true.
Bing is about to get the features of DALL-E 2, that text-to-image generator that caused such a stir and kicked off this latest wave of AI art. This integration will allow users to type in text and generate images. This feature will be particularly beneficial for searches where images don't currently exist. Essentially,
that's right. That's how people are going to make the hentai. You guys see that? That's how it's going to happen. The new golden age of porn.
It will allow users to create new images on demand. Microsoft has said that they're working closely with OpenAI, so this feature doesn't generate explicit or inappropriate visuals.
Yeah, see, that's not going to matter because people are going to figure it out, like in other places too. It's like, yeah, obviously you're going to have like the biggest AIs. They're going to be like, okay, well, we don't want to be able to make porn, but there's going to be other AIs that will. And as this technology advances, as more people research it, there's more people involved with it, it will get better everywhere.
So, it looks like Bing is getting a major overhaul, with ChatGPT and DALL-E 2 features integrated. It sure is going to grab everyone's attention when it's launched. How exactly this pans out still remains to be seen, but I certainly am intrigued, and it will be interesting to see how this plays out. So we may be on the cusp of a new era in which the search engine that we know becomes a thing of the past. The digital directories of old will become the digital assistants of the future. So I'm going to make it clear.
Well, I think a lot of people kind of use something like Siri for that now. You know, instead of looking up something on Google, they'll just ask Siri, you know, what's the tallest mountain in the world? And Siri will say, okay, it's Mount Everest. And it's like, you know, I don't know, like, what's really tall? How tall is Mount Everest? Like, I don't know, like 200 feet tall or something, right? And that's it.
Search isn't going anywhere anytime soon, but it's so interesting to think
about
that
200
there could
feet,
be
somewhere
a
around
legitimate
there.
contender around the corner.
Give or
and
take.
For Microsoft Bing, of all places. Just think, a year or two ago, no one would have seen.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that, like, the one search engine that's always been a meme is actually poised to become the most relevant. That's so funny for me to see that.
This coming. It's just amazing how fast things are moving. So what are your thoughts? Are link-based search results going to expire? Do you think you're going to warm up to an AI bot serving you the information that you need? Will Bing become a verb? And finally, do you think Google will hit back faster than we all expect? Please let me know in the comment section. It's going to be an interesting discussion. Alright, so that's about it from me. Feel free to have a browse through the Cold Fusion channel. There's plenty of interesting topics.
I think there's
AI,
a good chance that
technology,
Google could come up with
business,
something.
and much more.
Just Bing it, guys.
And
Yeah,
also,
just Bing
don't
it.
forget to check out the ChatGPT video linked below. So thanks for watching.
There's a video
My name
right
is
there.
TheGoGo, and you've been watching Cold Fusion, and I'll catch you again soon for the next episode.
This is a
I'm
good
gonna play
video,
you out
man.
with a new track I made over on the second channel. Cheers, guys. Have a
Yeah,
good
and
one.
again, like, if things are paywalled or hard to use now, that'll change. Yeah, all that shit's gonna change. So don't worry about it. It'll take some time, but it'll happen. Five-head Microsoft. Hopefully they'll rename it. I think that they probably should rename it. Like, it would be smart for Microsoft to, whenever they actually have AI integration, to probably rename it, because Bing is a meme and people don't want to use a meme. They want to use Google. I'm all about Bing after this? Yeah, exactly. Now we can get behind why Asmongold gets balled around ChatGPT. Yeah, very fucking funny. Can you imagine how it will work in 10 years? Just think a graphics card's going to be crazy. Yeah, you just look at graphics in video games. It's especially, like, video games 10 years ago were still, like, decent graphically. But I think 20 years ago is whenever things really get crazy. Is you look at something that came out in 2003, and that's a lot fucking better than what we have, a lot fucking worse than what we have now. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with this. And I do think that, like, as time goes on, you're going to see some of the, like, limitations of things like ChatGPT, like how it's, like, censored and curated. You're going to see other AIs that just aren't censored and aren't curated. Like, that's it. And so it's a matter of, like, very emerging technology that very few people have access to the means of distribution of.